We are honored to have architect Pooja Nikhar, Senior Associate of Morphogenesis, will represent a top integrating design and sustainability into high-rise building. Pooja Nikhar, a seasoned architect with 12 plus years of experience in India and Singapore, is significantly impacting the architectural landscape. As a senior associate at Morphogenesis, a renowned Indian architectural and urban design practice, Pooja has worked on prestigious projects across residential, commercial, and mixed-use developments. Morphogenesis ranked among the top 100 architectural design firms worldwide, has received over 130 international and national awards. Pooja's current ventures include notable projects such as Noble Callista, DLF Hamilton Phase-II, and Godrej Master Clubhouse. Her contributions are shaping India's skyline and earning recognition in the industry. So let's welcome Pooja.
Hi, thank you, Sachi, for a very wonderful introduction. And I think, somewhere agree with Shruti ma'am and take forward in how we practice at Morphogenesis. So basically, I'll be speaking about how we can integrate design and sustainability in high-rise buildings, specifically to residential building, high-rise buildings. So we at Morphogenesis have a copyrighted design philosophy called SOUL, which stands for Sustainable, Optimized, Unique, and Livable. So no matter what the scale of the project is, we try and approach the design through these 4 principles. And sustainability being one of them, we are able to make our building consume 50% lesser energy as compared to other certified benchmarks, only by passive design methods and microclimate. And it has been proven through post-evaluation, occupancy evaluation also. Then we strongly believe in resource optimization. And then each and every project that we take in our organization, we try to respond it to the client need, climate, and context. And so it becomes unique in itself. And fourth, but not the last, we try to make it every project more user-centric and with smart environment and more livable for people who are actually a part of the project, who are basically the end users. So today I'll focus majorly on sustainability, and I have listed some of the factors that we try to implement in a residential design, which are microclimate, passive design, view analysis, walkability, and lastly, the green rating. For microclimate, to achieve that, we follow very basic principles of, site shading and how to harness the winds and evaporative cooling in dry months, and as much as possible, try to avoid UHI materials. Then when we talk about, and I was very keen on, that high-rise buildings should try and integrate passive design strategies. And it can actually become a new toolkit for upcoming high-rise buildings. So when we talk about passive design, just make all the orientation and minimizing the facade area and use of thermal buffers like courtyards and verandas and shading walls may help achieve a passive design even in the high rise. And then very important are the views. As Shruti ma'am also mentioned, that half of our views are now restricted because most of our buildings are, air conditioned. So, but we feel that for a human comfort and views are very important. And something when we are going high rise, probably that becomes even more, I would say easier to achieve, because you're already a level up. And then also when we talk about walkability, we believe that most of the ground now that we are going high rise, so most of the ground probably is available for pedestrianization and open areas. And then lastly is the green rating, which probably is achieved through all these factors. When you put in a design, green rating probably is achieved automatically. So I'll start with one of the project in Gurgaon. It's a high-rise residential project known as Mahindra Luminaire. And as I was mentioning previously also, this project basically came into play when we observed that the lifestyle in Delhi and Gurgaon was predominantly low-rise bungalows. I think we have been living in such a scenario for a very long time. But now, due to urbanization and migratory pressures, we actually we are left with not many options but to go high-rise. So this project actually aims to bridge that bungalow sort of a format into a high-rise. So few of the parameters that we used. This is a site plan, as you can see. So the design of the tower was perceived as very compact and slender building forms for minimizing the ground coverage and providing more amenities on the ground. So if you see some of the figures that we achieved, basically only 15% ground coverage, and most of the ground was utilized for landscape area with 100% pedestrianization. Then talking about the planning. So as we see in the traditional bungalow plan, there was always an open place and the built form was always on the periphery with huge or very deep verandas. So we actually tried to bring this format into a high rise. And if you can see, there is a conceptual cluster plan of a Mahindra where, the units are in the periphery with two internal courts, which I'll demonstrate later, that are used for cross ventilation in the entire scheme of things. And then there were wraparound balconies for that buffer. They act as a buffer or a deep balcony that also gives a feel of that bungalow sort of a thing with more space. So this is more or less the planning where this forms one unit and there is an internal courtyard. So every unit is basically naturally ventilated through a central stack effect, and every unit gets a cross ventilation. Moving forward, as I mentioned about the wraparound balcony, so all the units became dual aspect units where we gave around 6 feet wide balconies all around. So they not only provided additional space and a feel of a bungalow in high rise, but also because it was always, since it was 6 feet deep, it was always shaded in all the orientation. And there was also a significant reduction in the solar heat. So this is one of the actual images from the site. Moving forward, I would again want to showcase one of the other projects in Gurgaon itself called DG Homes. And so if you see, the master planning of the site was a result of comprehensive daylighting analysis. Because as I mentioned previously also, that we are very much focused on passive design strategies. And so the idea was that during winters and during basically the landscape that was there, the ground plane, it is shaded during the summers, some part of it, whereas the sun comes in during the winters in certain portions. So the landscape becomes usable throughout the year. Also, if I quickly go through to the site plan, if you see that most of all the towers are oriented north-south. So the longer face of the tower is always in the north-south direction. And also we tried to have a central core with 4 individual units. So they became like a 3-sided unit. When I go to the other, So if you see, they are 3-sided unit with ample amount of natural light, cross ventilation. Again, it's a feeling of, moving, still living in a high rise, but having your own personal space where you get the same amenities probably when when one was living in a low rise apartment. And also, there were technological advancement that we provided because we had given the smart homes provision in these unit. Then again, when we were discussing about, that, as Shiti ma'am also mentioned, that probably the need of the hour or moving forward, there has to be in high rise a mixed use. So this is one of the projects in Pune, which is again a residential and commercial project, mix of residential and commercial on the lower ground, and the upper floors are all residential. So, and also to add to it, we have a 2.5-acre rooftop terrace. So in such a high density, high rise building, when the apartments, when it's becoming a mixed use, probably the ground where in the previous projects I had shown you, the ground is actually where you play. Now the ground is moving upwards with all the amenities going upwards, probably because of a better quality of air. And subsequently, I'll just show you in the coming slide. So this is the basic planning where the entire ground in the front is retail, and there are 6 residential towers, which has around 2.5 acres of deck with amenities. So this is one of the image of how we have conceived this high rise, high density mixed use development with the shared amenities. And as you can see, there are all sort of activities that can happen on the ground have gone to on a higher level, so that you get like a sort of an experience also, and a better air quality with better views. And these are some of the imageries of the same. So I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much, Sachi and Akanksha and Ease, for giving us this opportunity to be a part of this presentation.
Thank you, Pooja, for sharing exciting views on integrating design and sustainability into high-rise building. For viewers who have joined us today, we would like your feedback and encourage you to stay connected with us via our social media handle. ACE Update is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also download our app from Google Play and App Store. We also request our viewers to stay tuned for future interactions. With that, today's interaction has now come to a close. Thank you and goodbye.